everybody. How are we doing today? I am here in our classroom and I am trying to go over our assignment for today. Remember, our I can statement says that we can compare using a number line. So let's take a look at our number line. Notice I have 0 in the middle, like we learned last week, and we have our numbers increasing 1 through 7. You're used to seeing number lines like that, with it being 1 through 7. And now we're going to work to the left of 0. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And I've plotted my points and I want to compare -4 to 2. I want to compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. So remember, the alligator eats the bigger number. That is something that you learned as a kid, maybe when you were little. But the mouth has to open to the number that's furthest to the right on the number line. Notice -4 is way over here. +2 is way over here. So the number further to the right is the bigger number. Think of it this way. I would rather have $2 than to owe $4. -4 is smaller than +2. For some of us, that's common sense. For others of us, we're going to really have to struggle and think through that, okay? So notice again, let's start down here on our next example. It says we want to compare 3 and -6. So on my number line, I'm placing my data point on 3. And here I'm going to place my data point on -6. Now I got to compare. Notice -6 is way over here to the left. It's small. I owe $6. +3 says I have $6. So I would rather have $3 than to owe 6. So the alligator eats the bigger number. 3 is greater than -6 because it's further to the right on my number line. The further you go out here on your number line, the greater the numbers get. Even the same is true over here. The further you are to the right, so -2 is greater than -6 because it's further to the right on the number line. Now let's take a look at our assignment for today. It's comparing integer activity. We're going to drag and drop our data points onto our number line. So what we have is we have to graph 7 and its opposite on the number line. That means, if I can find my little mouse signal here, making sure he's in there. So I have 7 right here. And then I need to plot the point. So I just kind of went ahead and pulled those up so I wouldn't have to drag them so far to -7. 7 and its opposite. The opposite of 7 is -7. Both of them are 7 spaces away from 0. Now we're going to graph 5. I'll drag it up there. 5 and -5. So I'm going to drag it up there. All right, 5 and -5 are opposites because they are both 5 spaces away from 0. They're just in opposite directions. So now, where does 7 lie in relation to 5 on the number line? 7, +7, is 2 spaces to the right of 5. So if I go to my number line on the board, 5 is here, 7 is here. 7 lies 2 spaces to the right. So that tells you that 7 is greater than 5. You knew that 7 is greater than 5. But where does the opposite? Look down here. I'm going to show you this one. Here we go. -5 is here. -7 is here. Notice that we're on the opposite side of 0. So -7 lies 2 spaces to the left. Remember, we just went over that the further you go to the left, the smaller the numbers are getting. Look what happened. Regular 5 is less than 7. But when you're talking about the opposite, look what happens. The opposite becomes true. 5 is less, 5 is less than 7 because 7's further to the right. But when you're talking about down here, -5 and -7, the opposite of 5 and the opposite of 7, the opposite becomes true. -5 is now greater than -7. So I want you to make that connection that when you're talking about the opposite or negative numbers, you're talking now. See how what used to be true, 5 is less than 7. We've known that 5 is less than 7. But now when you're talking about the opposite of 5 and the opposite of 7, the opposite becomes true. I hope that makes sense. You can practice trying these. Think about, placing your numbers here on a number line. You can drag the symbols to the orange circles to complete the comparison, and then drag your data point dots to plot the number on the line. So you're just going to, plot -1, plot 0. Which one's further to the right? That's the one the alligator's going to eat. The farther it is to the right, the bigger the number is. The farther the number is to the left, the smaller the number is. Then you have my favorite activity. I love this because I want you to read your vocabulary. I read it to you in your bell ringer. I hope that you're rereading those on your own. And then you're going to go up and you are read the words carefully back again on slide 2 and correctly match those up. All right. That's your exit slip for today.